Last year, I had presented all the poetry reading, whatever I had written. And now this year, what I'm trying to do is, what I've thought is, like, I've written down a list of topics. So it's my view, my opinion on topics. The topic of the vlog is the meme poem of that time. So let's get into it. So I remember studying this poem. I don't remember which class in high school. So what I remember about this poem is that it was a poem about a visit to a dentist, and it was a very funny poem. I did remember some wordings which I remember, like vicious cycle was something which I remember, because that was the first time I had learned this term. I remember what the way he had written was Ogden Nash. It was painfully funny. It was fun. It was making a pain sound funny. One thing I like less than most things is sitting in a dentist chair with my mouth wide open. And that I will never have to do it again is a hope that I'm against hoping. Let's move on to the next paragraph. Because some tortures are physical and some are mental, but the one that is both is dental. It's like so funny. I mean, it's because it is true. It's a physical. So what happens is usually at times, like for example, for me, when if I have to donate a blood, or I have to give blood for blood test, right? Or I have to get an injection. Sometimes it is more painful in my memory, or if of a memory of you stubbing your toe, right? It's the memory is more painful. The actual experience is just a very 2-3 seconds, like literally if the injection and all those things is like literally 1 second. It's not so much. So the physical pain might be not, but sometimes in your memory you conjure up the image and the feelings of it. That's much more. So you build it up in your head. So that's what could be a mental pain, right? When you build it up in your head and it's like this, oh God, aisa hoga, vaisa hoga. It'll be so painful like this and that. And then when you actually go through it, it's quite easy. It's just the before and the aftermath of it. And that's a mental pain. Now, then there could be other things where you actually get hurt, right? So when you actually get hurt, then it's a physical pain. And post that, it's just you have to go through it when you are getting healed, as you're getting healed. So it's more or less a physical pain. Now, going to a dentist is, alas, both. It is both. It is hard to be self-possessed with your jaw digging into your chest. He's again told this. He's again gone through it. It's literally this thing, like you're like, what do you mean by self-possessed? You cannot keep calm. You cannot keep dignity. That okay. So for example, at times you are going through a mental turmoil. So you are going through it, but you try to remain calm outside so that you are calm inside as well. And then, but going to a dentist is, in this case scenario, when your jaw is literally digging into your chest, how can you be self-possessed? How can you be dignified? It's so hard to give your usual effect of cheery benignity when you know your position is one of the 2 or 3 in life most lacking in dignity. Let's move on. And your mouth is like a section of a road that is being worked on. And it is cluttered up with stone crushers, concrete mixers, drills, and steam rollers. And there isn't a nerve in your head that you aren't being irked on. So first he has compared, he uses a simile to say that your mouth is like a road that is being worked on. And then he's sort of, it's a very vivid picture that he's building up here. He goes on to say that it's cluttered. He's using all these name of these machines: stone crushers, concrete mixers, drills, steam rollers. Obviously they are not being used. He's using these machines which are used on a road, in the construction of a road. So he feels it's like that. And main point, there isn't a nerve in your head that you aren't being irked on. What does that mean? It means you're getting, as he said, mental, physical, both. So you are like not only you are in an undignified position, you are being irked on, like you are being poked at, getting irritated, right? So then he is going on to say very nonchalant, in a nonchalant way, oh, some people are unfortunate enough to be strung up by thumbs and others have things done to their gums. He's actually comparing to these archaic or medieval practices, or even I think during the British times, when as forms of punishment people were strung up by thumbs. So he's comparing it to that, oh, some people are unfortunate enough to be strung up by thumbs and others have things done to their gums. He's basically saying that this is like a torture, it's like a punishment. That's how he is comparing, right? He's comparing to a punishment, to a torture, and he's saying that that's what it is. Your teeth are supposed to be being polished, okay? But you have reason to believe that they are being demolished. It's very funny the way he's painting it, like because they use that and it feels that they are literally, your teeth are falling out, will fall out. And the circumstance that adds most to your terror, that it's all done with a mirror. You understand what he means by this, right? Next line. Because the dentist may be a bear, or as the his each line is packed with kind of a satirical humor, satire, or you can say sarcastic, not snarky, more of a satirical or witty humor, you can say. Because what he's saying right now, first it's done with a mirror, you know what it means. It means that the dentist might get confused, that if he wants to take out a cavity from the left side, he's actually taking it out from the right side. Teeth is to be pulled from the left side, he's actually pulling a teeth from the right side. That's sort of an error, right? That's what he's talking about. He'll come to it, but before that, the lines that these lines are very funny, to so to say. Because the dentist may be a bear, or as the Romans used to say, only they were referring to a feminine bear when they said it, an ursa. So he is saying the dentist is a bear, and he's saying it's an ursa. I think that's how it's pronounced, ursa. So ursa is what Romans used to call a feminine bear. So basically these bears used to dig up into their prey before eating it. So it is kind of a pictorial representation, because the doctor here, dentist here, is also he's digging up your teeth, right? He's saying your teeth are being polished, but they feel like they have been demolished. It's like a road kind of a construction site. So, and as I said, everything done with a mirror. But all the same, how can you be sure when he takes up his crowbar in one? He's just casually using these words, crowbar. I mean, jo padega na, when you're reading this, you will find the humor yourself. The way he is, it's very subtle. It's not actually subtle also, but in sometimes it's like he's saying, yeah, generally. Also, how can we be sure when he takes his crowbar in one hand and mirror in the other, and he won't get mixed up? What crowbar? Crowbar kahan se aaya? How crowbar thodi use karta hai, but that sort of a tool, right, which is used to pull a teeth out or whatever. The way you do when you try to tie a bow tie with the aid of a mirror and forget what left is right, and vice versa, right? So that's what I said. So it's like when you are sort of it, anyways, you're sitting in an undignified, in such a position where you cannot possess a calm mind. On top of that, your mouth is being worked upon like a road, a section of a road, and you feel it's being polished, but it seems like it's demolished. Then there is a mirror in front of you. Mirror, so it's like, anyways, all these things are very, it's irking you, it's irritating you. So you will only think all the negative things, right? So at points like these, that it will come to your mind that, oh my God, what if the dentist sort of makes an error? So it's a poetic way. It's like how our thoughts are, right? हम एकदम वर्स्ट सोच जाते हैं, हम लोग बहुत सारा वर्स्ट सोचते हैं कि ये हो सकता है. And then at last he says, that will be all. But it isn't, because he then quotes your mouth from cellar to roof with something that I suspect is generally used to put a shine on a horse's hoof. So it's like then he says it that will be all, but it isn't, because he is coating your mouth. So he feels dentist is like saying, is not honest. He's saying abhi ho gaya sab, he's saying everything is done, but then coats your mouth with something which is used to shine a horse's hoof. That's what it feels like. I think they use this some calcium-y thing, no, some which, and then your teeth sort of get stuck together. And then he says, and you totter to your feet and think, well, it's all over now, and after all it was only this once. So the word totter itself is like तुम ऐसे ऐसे करके उठ रहे हो, ठीक से, मतलब गिरते पड़ते उठ रहे हो, like falling here and there, and you're getting up. So then what it says, well, it's all over, and you think that's all over now, and after all it was only this once. And he says, come back in 3 months. And this, oh fate, is, I think, the most vicious cycle that thou ever sentest. That man has to go continually to the dentist to keep his teeth in good condition, when the chief reasons with he wants his teeth in good condition is that he won't have to go to the dentist. So it's like an ironical thing here, that I don't want to go to the dentist because the experience is so bad, but we go to the dentist for the very reason that we don't want to go to the dentist. So it's very ironical. He also uses this, which I just noticed and not during my poem analysis, was that he said, oh fate, he's talking to fate, is I think the most vicious circle, I'll come to vicious circle in a moment, that thou ever sentest. Sentest is like a sentence being passed on, right? A sentence. And when is a sentence being passed on? If someone has done some misdeed, right, and they have taken to a judge or a court or maybe a police station, and so he's saying this is like a sentence, because as he said pehle bhi, it's like a torture, it's like an ordeal. He's not used these words, he has used it indirectly, that it's a torture, it's an ordeal. You can understand from his words itself. So he has used the word sentest here. Vicious circle means, okay, so yeah, it started to rain here, so you might hear these sounds. So vicious cycle, what does vicious cycle mean? Ki if you do something, one event leads to another bad event, leads to another bad, so it's like a cycle. It doesn't end. In fact, you keep going down the rabbit hole sort of a thing. So here he is saying that you want to keep, your teeth are supposedly not good, right? So you go to the dentist to get it fixed. The ordeal is so bad that you feel that I don't want to go to the dentist ever again. Then you come back. Then if there is, you want to avoid going to the dentist. But to avoid going to the dentist is the reason that you have to go to the dentist. Why do you want to avoid going to the dentist? Because it's ordeal, it's a painful task. But the reason that you go to the dentist is to keep your teeth in good condition. Man has to continually go to the dentist to keep his teeth in good condition, when the chief reason he wants his teeth in good condition is so that he won't have to go to the dentist. So it's like a vicious cycle. It's a vicious cycle. There is another term known as virtuous cycle. उसमें उल्टा होता है कि हर चीज़ it has its opposite. Everything sort of, one thing leads to something better, leads to something better. That's how it is. So I think that's the end of the poem. The title of the poem. This is going to hurt just a little bit. This is something which usually a dentist tells you when he's sort of putting you in the chair, and he says that it's going to hurt just a little bit. It's trying to assure you, but that line is scary. It's going to hurt just a little bit is to the dentists. That my poem is going to hurt. He's making fun of everything. But also see how it's a painful ordeal that he's making fun of. And he's not actually making fun of it. He is presenting it as is. But the way he's presenting is what is funny. So you are able to understand that it's painful process, all these things are happening, right? But the meme culture that we have, right? So a lot of times these funny things they put we get to see online as memes, presented in a funny way, a humorous way of depicting a painful ordeal, a painful experience. So that's how I feel this poem also is. As I said, he is using humor as a defense mechanism to portray the fear that he's felt, the tension that he's feeling. So he has used a lot of exaggeration, as you know, that those road things that he mentioned, and used a kind of like metaphorically, and similes he's used that like a section of a road. He's also used these he's coined these terms to make it, obviously using his poetic license, keep my mouth open, wide open, and that I will never have to do it again, is a hope that I'm against hopen, right? And then and it was, well, it's all over now, and after all it was only this once. And he says come back in 3 months. He's written MONCE to make it rhyme. So these are certain tools that he has used. Let me know your feedback or your thoughts about this poem. Did you guys have it in school? If you didn't, how did you like going through it with me? So I'll also pick up more poems like this, which I will be analyzing on this channel. Till then, like, share, comment and subscribe to my YouTube channel.